What's good, guys? It's your boy CS. What a crazy week we've had, right? From the interest rate cut, and actually at the start of the week we were in red quite profusely. So I've not actually taken a look at Bitcoin. I've just been playing around with alts a lot, as you know, Mog, Floki, Brett, Reef, crazy runs. So we've been looking at altcoins rather than Bitcoin, but I do need to keep my eye on the price. So let's dive straight into Bitcoin. I've got the naked chart, excuse me, up at the moment. And what we can see, as I said, there was the bearish stance that this was always going to be a lower low, lower high. Now this is a lower high. And so, sorry, this is a higher low. This is a higher low. This needs to now print a higher high up here. Somewhere around this region to now confirm that the bulls have taken charge. And once this happens, this higher high, yes, we can expect to see a big retrace down. We don't mind that. It can even come down all the way. I think it will come down to 60k, and I'll show you the reason why in just a moment. But that's what we want to see. We want to see a higher high get produced in anywhere around this zone. Now, one thing I wanted to mention was, as you remember, I produced both of the charts for you, which was the bearish stance and the bullish stance. And I kept saying this point of control zone was very hard for the bears to really break. Like when we had that August dump, yes, it did break down, but only three candles ended up inside this point of control. This one was a bit deeper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's say about 10 candles in here, right? But if we look at it from a weekly perspective, we spent one candle in and then got straight out. We didn't spend any candles in. And then this one we spent 2 weeks in, which was that was dangerous, because usually when you break a support line multiple times, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. However, we held and we've come out of it. Now, looking on my famous historic spider line chart, we've now smashed into, and I kept saying this last week, we hit into it and now I've used it as a retracement. And then look, we got stopped here and then we came back and now we're in. Now, I wouldn't be surprised once we post our higher high, and that higher high could technically be here at the next spider line resistance. I would not be surprised because, as you know, look how many kisses this has on the daily. It has multiple kisses on the daily. Again, it can break through, but we do have wicks to the downside and wicks to the downside here. So, and then we've got wicks to the upside. See how it acts as resistance as well? So I wouldn't be surprised if we post our higher high here, maybe next week. I mean, things don't need to be rushed, but even if we did it this week, on the weekend or even today, that would take us there, 66k, which would be perfect, because then that would end up with us bouncing off this spider line next week. And you got to remember, spider lines are historic support and resistance zones. And I keep saying this to you guys, like, look how beautiful this is, the wicks to the upside and the wicks to the downside. That's how it works. It works better on the daily, but just showing you again. And then if I go into this chart, another historic one, we've now broken this historic one, which is a mammoth one, by the way, from back in 2022. And we have not only broken it, we retested it yesterday. It doesn't necessarily mean we won't retest it again. And I do think we are going to get a retrace at some point. How big that retrace is, I don't know, because you got to remember, when Bitcoin moves, it moves fast. When it moved to the downside, it moved from 70k all the way down to 50k, 49k, right? That's a 20k drop. And then it finally retraces up to, let's say here, right? 12k. So with this move, depending on where the bottom is, 52k, we're currently at 10k. If you normally split it in half to like 50 to 60%, it would probably come around, yeah, I'd probably say around the 56, 57k at the moment. But if we posted something higher, it might come down to the 60k. Now, actually, I just want to bring up the EMA ribbons, because it's so easy just to use simple indicators sometimes. And we can even see on the monthly, just coming back, we've now broken, or we are breaking and closing finally above that 61. but also above this resistance at 62,712. We have to stay above the 61k though at all costs. This bit here, 60.9k, 61k. We want to stay above that at all costs on the monthly. Now on the weekly, we finally reclaimed the 20 EMA, which has been really a hard push for us to get actually. And now if we look on the daily, I never updated you guys, but if we look back here, when we had all the retests, so we came up, retested the 20, used that support, and then we never retested the 50 or the 100, right? And then let's see this one. Came up, retested the 50, fantastic, came back down, retested the 20, fantastic, came up, broke turquoise, but also on that same week, we retested the 200. So we retested these three, but we've never retested the turquoise. And that's why I believe is a very simple indicator. We'll come back and retest this at some point. When that is, I don't know. But that's going to be the next retrace zone as far as I'm expecting if we do get a retrace. Again, we do need to post that higher high in order to have that full confirmation. This is just my thesis, remember. Still in that descending, broadening wedge. As I've always said it, I've said it historically, and, you know, at the end of the day, we might get something like that. I mean, get some chop, and then we might go. But whatever happens, remember this. If you miss this, and it goes like that, do not buy in here. Do not buy there. You do not buy there. You wait for this to come back down and retest. And then it'll be on its way. It has to have a successful retest. Because look, the amount of times we've hit this, 1, 2, 3. And I've got to say, that one faked many people out. The fourth one. And this one took me by surprise, I'll be honest with you. I thought we were on our way this time. And that got everybody. That's why the move down was so rough. Because it got everybody stuck. Including myself. And you got to remember, I've always been a perma bull. But seeing that candle over the past couple of... Those candlesticks, over the past couple of days. They were very, very fearful for everybody. And then horizontal resistance, we've just been smashing through. So if I go in a weekly, we are basically heading for this line, which is the 63941 region. I think we're going to attack the 65239 region. We should get a close around here, anywhere between this yellow and pink zone, right? I think that those are the two zones we're looking at. If we go higher, then we're looking at around... 67249 around this region. But let's just see how much steam the bulls have, because the shorts are continually getting wrecked. And that's really good, because on the smaller time frame, if we look on the 1 hourly, Bitcoin is just using the 1 hourly as support constantly. It's actually very, very easy to look at, because it's just using that support and then going for its next leg up. Now, this rising channel in red, I know there's many different lines on there, but I can only show you what I've got on, unfortunately. This red channel, we've still got to hit the upper bracket. And remember, eventually, this channel will end and we will fall out of it, but it won't be a big... I don't think it's going to be a big dump, like a bear dump, unless we don't hit that higher high. Remember, we've got to hit that higher high. Unless we don't hit that, I think this is just going to be a little retrace down. May even come and touch here, 60k. I don't know why I've got 60k in my head, but 60k seems like the region. I think the turquoise 100 EMA, yeah, it is. Then we'll come back, retest it, and also retest that symmetrical triangle, the breakout zone. And then we'll be on our way. Because right now on the daily, we've not had a retest. On the 4 hourly, we've not had a retest. And on the 1 hourly, you could say we had a retest. But really, I like higher time frame retests. They just, I don't know, I think they signify a better retest. That there's more demand there. And people are flushing out the week longs and the paper hands. That's just my opinion. Now, on the tether dominance chart, this has been doing a number, as we know, inversely correlated. As you can see with the red zone we had, now we've got the purple zone. So it acts inverse, right? And we are coming down to this 5.31% region, which is a very good weekly support for the dominance. And we've got this historic white trend line that goes all the way back when. I know there was a lot of stuff on this chart. I know it's very, very messy, but for me, I understand it. So do bear with. But this white trend line has been acting as support for the dominance, for the bears throughout this whole period. So if we do hit the 5% region, 5.16 region, we do need to be careful because there might be a bigger retrace. Once we break that, I want you to zoom out and can you see this yellow trend line? Look at this, how it's acting as support historically. And so this is where this could end up. I know I've mentioned this numerous times, so I'm not going to keep banging on about it. Now, the one that you guys gave reactions to was for the dominance chart. So if I just bring this up, dominance, right? It always, because people think it stops at 56, 57, but actually it has wicks to the upside, and sometimes it can go up to 71. Like, we didn't really have an explosion of a, like, if you remember the 2016, 2017 cycle, we started here and we came down. That was the first bit of the alt season. Then the massive bit of the alt season where we went parabolic in the last parts of November and December, we're here. So we went up here, and then we came down to the 39. Now, last cycle, very similar. We had, let's see, we was already up here during September 2020, right? So 4 years on, we are now here, September 2024. Literally bar for bar, right? And the dominance went exponentially higher to the 71% region. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just making sure you're aware that 4 years ago today, when Bitcoin started taking off, Bitcoin went up to the 71% region. Then it had alt season properly from January onwards, and we came down to this level. And I think people are getting too giddy and too excited where this is like the golden pocket. Like, it can happen, but also set your expectations a bit adrift here, because actually we didn't have alt season for the past two cycles until the second year of the bull cycle. So for us, it'll be 2025. As you can see here, 2021 was 4 years ago. And then 4 years ago from that would have been 2017, which is at the end. See here, November, December, and it went absolutely nuclear. So just making sure you guys are aware that, look, alt season doesn't necessarily need to be like that. Like, you got to remember how quick this alt season is, right? So look how quick the alt season is. November, December, and then we're done. 2 months of absolute chaos. If you were there, you would have really understood what was going on at that time. Everything was going up. In any shit coin, literally any shit coin you bought was going up. Everyone was buying everything. Crypto was going euphoric. And then this is the one that I remember where I got into the cycle here, and it just went ballistic until May. And then we had that nasty 50% retrace, right? And then we had one final leg down, which was there, October. And then we finished like I think it was more November than anything. Yeah, 22nd of November was when we really finished. And alt season and Bitcoin really finished. But this is, look how quick this is. So that's December to basically May. So you've got around 5 months of chaos. This one was only 2 months of chaos, but it came down real quick. Like real quick. And so we're only in September. There is no rush on this dominance. You got to remember, and altcoins are still going to move. It just means Bitcoin's going to go higher. That's all that dominance means. And so the way that I'm thinking of it is, don't be too misguided in the fact that, oh yeah, it's bounced here, it's going to come down and it's going to curl down. It moves fast, man. It moves real quick. And so that's something you've got to be prepared for. And then finally, just looking at the S&P and the Dow, we are at all-time highs now for the S&P, which is fantastic. Has retraced already today. I wonder what will happen later on. I think it'll go green by the time this comes on. Dow already picking up a wick to the downside. Nikkei doing really well as well. Finally breaking its EMA resistances and looks like it's going to pump back to the 41K region. We'll have to just wait and see. All right, guys, that's all I've got for Bitcoin. Like I said, I've been a bit out of whack with this one for now. And I've been more focusing on altcoins. And just while we're here, might as well show you. So we've got Floki, Brett, Mog, Reef, this Kate, Nero. The ETH version looks, I don't know what it is about it, but I just kind of have something where it looks like it might do something. It might do something. I don't know. Might not. Then we've got Casper, Turbo, Ponky. Turbo's getting a massive retrace. Might even be a good buy. Might even look at buying that now, actually. And then Pepe, Popcat. Popcat's doing amazing as well. All right, guys, that's it for me.